The reason shape notes are meaningful, and not only the shape notes, but the music that comes along with them, is my way of uplifting my voice and praise to my Savior. If you research shape notes back far enough, you'll come to find out that it originated with gospel music. It's sacred. Shape notes have never been used in anything besides gospel music that I'm aware of. Basically, it was born and it's still in mostly rural churches.
Ready, sing. Go me, go fresh me. Go fresh me, so me.
Shape note singing is a truly American tradition. It originated in Philadelphia in the late 1700s and was accepted immediately, especially in the rural areas. It answered a need for people learning to read music quickly and easily. And because it was so successful, it spread like wildfire throughout the South and out to the frontiers. It enabled people in the rural areas to bring music not only to their churches and improve it there, but also to bring it into their homes.
The churches that use shape notes now have used them all their life, and they have not dropped them. They have kept singing out of shape note songbooks, and they keep up using them, and they keep their children learning them to try to keep their singing going in that fashion, and their singing is good because of that. But few churches are using them. Mabel and Mountaindale Baptist churches, we taught in both of them, but they're superior in singing shape notes to most churches because they've kept it up and they work on it. They continuously work on it. They get new books each year and they practice it and they fine tune it.
I had never heard of shape note singing till I moved to Boone. I came here to be band director at Appalachian State Teachers College in 1958. And as I made friendships, I discovered that a great many people could read music. They had learned how to do this in church singing schools. I looked at their music and saw that the notation was very similar to standard notation. The essential difference being that instead of all the note heads being round, they had varying shapes from which the singer could get syllables, and from the syllables could sing the pitches of the scale. Actually, syllables have been used for many years, almost 1,000 years, but the people using them had to go through a complicated system to arrive at the pitch, whereas with the shape notes, they can just look at the shape and instantly get the syllable, and from that instantly get the pitch. So it was very quickly learned, a lot of fun to learn in the process. The first time I ever sang shape notes was in the home of Luther Oliver. Luther was Neil Oliver's grandfather. I was invited into their home to sing with the family, and I was really amazed at how well they could sight read. I'm a pretty good sight reader, but I was really pressed to keep up with them. And what I was also impressed with was how much fun they had, and what an exuberant experience it was, how emotional it was. And I was also impressed with the fact that it was a worship experience, that they would stop from time to time and talk about the meaning of the song they were singing. It was just a wonderful experience for me, and I can recall even today the expressions on some of the faces as we were singing.
The way I got started with shape note music is I grew up with it. My dad led the choir at our church for about 50 years, as long as he was able, and Mom played for him. And we went to singings all over the country. Everybody at that time that we were in contact with in small communities used shape notes. And other than growing up with it in church, we went to singings all over the country. I was drugged to singings when I was a kid. We'd sing at a church half the night, go to somebody's house and sing the other half of the night. Get my dad to get a new book and sit down. Mom would have to drive him off of it to get him to the supper table. And I really didn't take much of an interest in it then because I didn't like being dragged around and go to singings and things. You know, kids won't play. As I grew older, I began to take an interest in it and try to learn. The only musical education I've ever had has been through shape notes in church, singing schools in churches, and a few years ago I attended the first Tri-City Gospel Music Camp in Kingsport, Tennessee, in which I really learned a lot.
The churches normally that do not have shape notes will have to rehearse a song and have to learn it in order to be able to sing it for church. And these two churches can get the books out and sight read a brand new song, and they're not music majors. They do not even know a great deal about lines and spaces, but they know how to sight read, and that's because of syllables, the do, re, mi's.
When we come together for a worship service, we do not have a program per se to pass out at the door. We don't know what song we might sing, what song we might need to sing. So we have choir practice, and we sing do, re, mi's a lot around here. And if need be, if somebody knows a song that so fits that message, they'll say, could we try number 62 or whatever? And because we're familiar with music, we can go ahead and get along pretty well. We get along well enough to get the message across in the song that fit the message we just heard.
What I really do is teach music in churches. And I try, most of the churches I teach shape notes. Some churches I teach round notes, and some churches I teach the number system. People ask all the time, why do I recommend shape notes over round notes? If I've never had any music, and I see those 7 pictures, and I recognize those 7 pictures of shapes, what we call the shape notes, And I see a song written in those things. Each syllable represents a pitch. And so once I learned that system in my head, I can sight read any song.
All right, now. Ray, pa, do that.
Now, Mountaindale and Mabel Baptist churches, what makes them so unusual, they see these different pictures of pitches, which are the shape notes. They're pictures that represent pitch. And they hear that in their head and they can sing it. And that's called sight reading the first time they see the song. And every year they put out new books, and they get 2 of them, and they open them up and sing them.
I have a song here that I've been working on in shape notes. If this song was written in round notes, it would sound identically the same. Or if it's written by numbers. Here again, you can letter it, number it, syllable it. In this part of the country, when there was no pianos, nothing, you just rear back and hit the highest note in the song and run down the scale to the beginning note and take off. This is a chart that my dad, Preacher Clyde Cornett, made in the late 1940s. And it's been used ever since. And on it is the do-re-mis. And that's the foundation of our music that we have used, our heritage.
Let the birds sing.
Blessings roll o'er my soul. Let the song called Sons of Praise. Your name is to my fountain of strength. My stream ran like thee. Shine a light of love for all to see. Just sing. Let the blessings roll and flow over my soul each day, over my soul. I'll witness throughout evil.
You could put this up on the street in town, and people pass by and they say, well, I recognize that. That's Preacher Clyde's chart. Preacher Clyde and Clint's used all over the country. That's his chart. I recognize it. I mean, you'd be surprised. All the local people in this county have seen this chart. We sing up and down the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We do that for 3 reasons. We learn 3 things as we sing up and down the scale. The name of the note, we've got to know what to call it, and the shape of the note, and the sound. Name, shape, and sound. That's what we're after. I have 10 lessons, but I still rather have this one chart than to have the 10 lessons on the other charts. For this reason, everything is laid out right here. I mean, you got your the length of notes, you got your whole, your half, your quarter, your eighth, your 16th. So everything basically is on this chart that you need. We can pull the do and put it on any line or in any space. We can move it around. And the reason it's called relative is because everything is related to the do, just like a fatherly figure in a family. This is a family, a close-knit family that needs to be sung. And I teach it that way. And people love it. We get into praise.
My dad got sick with Alzheimer's and gave up leading the choir, and it kind of fell to me. And when you have an obligation every Sunday night, every Wednesday night, to stand before a choir, you'll scratch and you'll claw and you'll dig and you'll try to be the very best you can, because when somebody comes out with a new songbook and you get that new book, you better be able to open that book and sing those songs without the aid of accompanists or anybody else. You've got to do it yourself, and that's when you'll take an interest. But I love to sing. I count it an opportunity. There's places in the world today where people would love to get up and sing a song about the Lord. These people love the opportunity to learn, a new, old way to sing. And I have that opportunity, and I'm going to use it. It's a blessing from God. If I look uncomfortable when I get up and out of place or something like that, it's just because, I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression of why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I love the Lord.
Christ saw the sinner moment she was drawing from the well. Her life was filled with sadness and her soul was bound for hell. He said, I'll give you water, it will cleanse you of your sin. And with this
I came out of a singing generation of people, out of a singing family. My mother, quick as we got to where we could talk, she started teaching all of us shape note music and teaching us to sing different parts. And we would sing at night before the old fireplace. That's all the heat we had. We had no electricity. We had lamp lights, and we carried water from a spring.
her heart was full of gladness from the chains of sin set free.
She was the best alto singer I believe I ever heard on shape note. Everything was a cappella, and whatever she went to do, she was singing over it. If she was cooking, she was singing. If she went to the place what we called the milk gap to milk the cows, she sang on her way there, and she'd sing to the old cows while she was milking. And vice versa, she went to the field with us to work while she sang.
Drink the water and you'll never thirst again. Again, drink this water and you'll never thirst again.
Our youth is the greatest investment. I'm concerned that they go on and receive from those of us who are my age now, receive something from us that will cause them to have a zeal to go on like I received from my dad and my grandfather. Our young people get interested in shape note singing from a very early age, even our small children. They find it fascinating and funny. That's been one of the things that has kept our choir as strong as it is today. We want to keep them exposed to that, so they'll have the same thing that we had, same opportunities in life that we had. And I've had that opportunity all my life. When I was a child, I had a drug problem. I was drugged from church to church. I was drugged to church on Sunday night, drugged to church on Wednesday night, drugged to college prayer meetings, and such the like, and to sing it. I love music, and I'd like to see that same love continue for the do-re-mis, because we have a lot of fun. You can make any kind of sound you want to. You know it's wrong when you make it, because you don't blend it in with everybody else. When we know we're wrong, we can correct it. The sad part is when we don't know that we're wrong, then we have nothing to correct.
David was a little boy who loved the Savior's son.
The churches that use shape notes now have used them all their life, and they have not dropped them. They have kept singing out of shape note songbooks, and they keep up using them, and they keep their children learning them to try to keep their singing going in that fashion, and their singing is good because of that.
Do the second verse. Then the giant came as he had done for 40 days. David did not fear and all God's army.
Shape notes are a dying form of art. And my daddy really loved it. My great-grandfather taught singing schools. He would go on horseback. Had a cloth chart about the size of a bed sheet, which probably was a bed sheet, that he had all this stuff written down on, the scale, the staffs, the clefs, the sharps and flats, length of notes, the whole thing on a bed sheet, and it's really all you need. Everything that you need to be able to sing is right there.
Good job, very good.
The shape note tradition has brought music into the lives of countless millions of people. I think it's wonderful to think about the way shape note singers are providing music in their churches on Sundays for worship, how they still gather at least once a year at singing schools to improve their skills in reading, how they gather conventions for the experience of worship in large groups, and gather in their homes for fellowship and for worship in their homes. And in all four cases, it's a very spiritual experience for them.
So raise Very good. Let's sing at least one verse a cappella. Look, let's see if we're still on A flat. We're down. I have to give us an A natural. Raise it up a half step. A, C sharp, E. Oh, here we go. Do, so. Look above, first verse a cappella. Ready, sing. Look